All right, Geraldo, we talked about this yesterday, this legal battle that's still brewing. Try to convince me that you're right.
You know, I'm Puerto Rican, so Puerto Rican is like Irish.
Fine, I give up.
Irish.
You can't respond.
The way an Irishman bears a grudge, a Puerto Rican remembers forever. President Trump was absolutely assaulted from the second he took office. He was assailed. He was wiretapped. His key people were, caught in perjury traps. They did everything they could to undermine him, accused him of being a Russian spy, accused the president of the United States of being a spy for the Russians, for goodness sake, that he had an alliance to Russia rather than the United States. I understand how angry he is about the way he was treated. I understand why that may translate into, now I'm not going to give up when they did so many bad things to me. I'm going to fight this to the... But I just, I love the guy, and I just want him to recognize the reality that this is over, Jesse.
I have a feeling that you disagree with that, Judge.
You know what? I wanted to have a nice, easy hour. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? He got 10 million more votes than he did last time. He had an incredible number of non-whites who voted for him that no one imagined. There was no blue wave on the down ballots, all right? And we're only 16 days from the election.
Other guy got 5 million, 6 million more votes.
Do you really believe that?
I do.
Okay,
got more
good.
than Obama.
So let's assume
Geraldo.
you believe that. Then you want to tell me... What, do you want to pipe in now?
No, go for it. Hey, whoa. You go.
Okay, so here's the deal. If we've got all these irregularities, Geraldo, you're a brilliant lawyer. You and I both understand that pursuant to Article 1, Section 4 of the Constitution, the Secretary of State, Raffensperger, in Georgia, doesn't have the right to change the law. Only the legislature can. And a Superior Court judge in Pennsylvania can't change the law after the legislature said they refused to do it. COVID was used as a ruse to add as much willy-nilly voting as possible.
But, Judge, what's the case? You need a case. You say I'm a brilliant lawyer. If I'm a lawyer, I need a case. What's the case that these facts are salient to? Where is the lawsuit filed? Which court is it? Was it state court? Is it federal court?
No,
what is the issue? Is it a constitutional issue?
Yes.
Is it a statutory issue?
It is a constitutional issue. These cases, and I just spoke to Lynn Wood, the constitutional issue in Georgia, where a federal judge dismissed his case based on standing, but not on the issue as it relates to the Secretary of State working a deal with Stacey Abrams, who moaned for 2 years that she should have been the governor, right? She gets to moan, sue, get a settlement with the Secretary of State that's unconstitutional. That's going to the 11th Circuit on an emergency appeal. It will go to the Supreme Court. You can't just change the law and say, what's the crime?
Yeah,
How about I decide to change the law?
I think a lot of members of the Trump legal team, Emily, are saying in Pennsylvania you have equal protection violations, the way certain ballots were treated differently in cities as opposed to Trump counties. And again, in Pennsylvania, they changed the election rules. That's the job of the state legislature. That's not the job of judges. So that's a case they're going to bring, and they're going to wait to see how it plays out.
That's true. And especially in Pennsylvania, you know, one of the cases that is referenced often in terms of being before the Supreme Court, the petition before the entire Supreme Court, is that one in Pennsylvania that's challenging whose authority is able to change the rules, right? And there in that lawsuit, the GOP is arguing, well, it's certainly not a judge. It needs to be the state legislature. And I think what's interesting for people to remember, too, is that a lot of the, quote, rulings that were made prior to the election weren't rulings on the merits of the case. They had to do with emergency measures, whether injunctive relief was applied at that moment. So it was sort of like, here's a ruling on what's going to happen in the moment while we let it all play out, and it's not necessarily ruling on the merits. I do think that in the long run, that the important cases, the rulings on the important cases will have an effect in 22 and 24, meaning confirming for sure that authority lies only with state legislatures and not with Secretary of States and judges and whatnot. But I don't think that as we have it right now, the cases that are pending will have a result and that will overturn this election, because the margins at this point are too narrow to surmount for the existing cases as they lie right now.